Kenya. The very name evokes images of immense, sun-drenched savannas. It brings to mind vast plains stretching to a horizon shimmering with heat. Here, lone acacia trees stand as silent sentinels against a brilliant blue sky. This is a landscape that feels ancient, almost untouched by the passage of time. One can almost hear the low rumble of a lion's roar carried on the evening breeze, or picture the elegant, slow-motion gait of a giraffe reaching for the highest leaves. It is a world of raw, untamed beauty, a place where the fundamental dramas of life and survival unfold every single day, just as they have for millennia. This is the Africa of our collective imagination, brought to vibrant, breathing life. But to think of Kenya as only savanna is to see just one chapter of a much grander story. Travel eastwards, and the golden grasslands give way to a completely different world. The air grows heavy with the scent of salt and tropical flowers. Here, the turquoise waters of the Indian Ocean gently lap against brilliant white sands. Ancient dhows with their distinctive lateen sails glide silently across the water, continuing a tradition of trade and travel that has connected this coast to distant lands for centuries. The coastline is fringed with whispering palm trees and lush mangrove forests, creating a tranquil paradise that feels a world away from the arid interior. It is a place of serenity and astonishing coastal beauty. This remarkable country is a land of breathtaking dualities, a place where fire and water, mountain and ocean coexist in a delicate and beautiful balance. It is where you can witness the snow-capped peaks of a mighty mountain straddling the equator in the morning, and by evening, feel the warm, humid air of the coast. The sheer variety is almost bewildering. Within its borders, one finds arid deserts that challenge life to its limits, and dense verdant rainforests teeming with hidden creatures. This is the magic of Kenya, a nation that holds a continent's worth of landscapes within its embrace, each more captivating than the last. The wildlife that inhabits these varied realms is just as spectacular as the scenery itself. Kenya is a stage for some of the planet's most magnificent creatures. Great herds of elephants move with a quiet, ponderous grace across the plains, their families bound by deep social ties. Lions, the embodiment of wild power, survey their kingdom from rocky outcrops, their golden eyes missing nothing. And then there are the rhinos, ancient and armored, a precious link to a prehistoric past. This is not just a collection of animals, it is a complex, interconnected web of life, a natural heritage of global importance that Kenya has the profound responsibility and privilege to protect. The secret to Kenya's extraordinary variety lies in its unique geographical position. The country is bisected by the equator, that imaginary line that separates our world into two hemispheres. This equatorial location means the sun's rays strike the land with a direct and powerful intensity throughout the year. However, this does not mean the entire country is uniformly hot and dry. Instead, this position, combined with dramatic changes in altitude, creates a fascinating mosaic of microclimates. It is this interplay of sun and elevation that gives birth to such a stunning diversity of environments, from sun-baked deserts to cool, misty highlands, all within a single nation's borders. Along the coast, the influence of the warm Indian Ocean creates a humid, tropical climate. The air is thick with moisture, nurturing the growth of lush coastal forests and the vital mangrove swamps that protect the shores. Here, the rhythm of life is dictated by the monsoons. Traveling inland, the land begins to rise, and the humidity lessens. This is where the iconic savannas unfold, vast grasslands dotted with acacia and baobab trees. These plains experience distinct wet and dry seasons, a climatic pulse that governs the great migrations of herbivores in search of fresh pasture, a cycle of feast and famine that shapes all life here. As one moves further west and north, the landscape transforms yet again. The ground continues to ascend into the highlands, where the air becomes cooler and crisper. These fertile regions are a world away from the coastal heat, often shrouded in morning mist. The higher altitudes create temperate conditions perfect for agriculture, giving rise to rolling green hills covered in tea plantations. And in the far north, the land descends into arid and semi-arid deserts, harsh environments where life is a daily struggle for survival against the heat and lack of water. It is a testament to nature's adaptability that life thrives even in these challenging conditions. This incredible spectrum of climates, all born from Kenya's position on the globe, is the very engine of its biodiversity. Each distinct region, from the coral reefs of the ocean to the icy peaks of its highest mountain, supports its own unique assembly of plants and animals. A creature adapted to the cool, dense Kakamega forest would not survive in the arid Chalbi Desert, just as a coastal mangrove crab would be lost in the high-altitude moorlands. This geographical and climatic richness is what makes Kenya a living laboratory of evolution and a treasure trove of natural wonders, a place of endless discovery and fascination. Towering over the Central Highlands is a geological marvel of immense scale and beauty, Mount Kenya. It is the second highest peak in Africa, an ancient, extinct volcano that stands as a solitary giant, its jagged peaks often crowned with snow and ice. What makes this mountain so extraordinary is that it straddles the equator. To stand on its slopes is to witness the impossible glaciers glittering under the fierce equatorial sun. Its presence dramatically influences the surrounding climate, creating its own weather systems. Rain clouds gather around its summit, feeding the rivers that bring life-giving water to the plains below, making it a vital water tower for the entire nation. The mountain is not just a single peak, but a complex world of its own, with distinct ecological zones that change as one ascends. The lower slopes are cloaked in fertile soils, supporting rich farmlands and dense montane forests. As you climb higher, the forest gives way to a unique bamboo zone, a dense thicket that rustles and creaks in the wind. Above this lies the timberline forest, and then a truly otherworldly landscape of moorland, populated by bizarre giant plants like the giant groundsel and lobelia. These strange, alien-like plants have adapted to the extreme daily temperature fluctuations, looking like something from a prehistoric world. Finally, there is the bare rock and ice of the peaks, a harsh, alpine desert. Stretching through Kenya from north to south is another of Earth's most spectacular features, the Great Rift Valley. This is not merely a valley, it is a colossal trench in the Earth's crust, a place where the African continent is slowly tearing itself apart. This immense geological activity has shaped the landscape in the most dramatic fashion. The valley floor is dotted with a chain of volcanoes, some dormant, some still gently steaming, and a series of beautiful, shimmering lakes. Each lake has its own unique chemical composition, from the fresh water of Lake Naivasha to the alkaline saline waters of Lake Bogoria and Lake Nakuru. The Great Rift Valley is a place of raw, elemental power. Geysers spurt boiling water from the ground, and steam vents hiss from fissures in the rock, reminding us of the immense heat and pressure churning just beneath the surface. It is this geothermal activity that gives the valley's lakes their unique character. The alkaline waters of some lakes support vast blooms of algae, which in turn provide food for one of the world's greatest natural spectacles: enormous flocks of flamingos. Their sheer numbers can turn the shorelines into a moving, shimmering sea of pink, a breathtaking sight against the dramatic backdrop of the valley's steep escarpments. Kenya's significance extends far beyond its landscapes and wildlife. It reaches back into the deepest recesses of time. The Great Rift Valley, with its history of geological upheaval, has proven to be a remarkable repository for the secrets of our own origins. For millions of years, sediments have washed down into the valley, burying and preserving the remains of the creatures and early hominins that lived and died there. As the Earth's crust has continued to shift and erode, these ancient layers have been brought back to the surface, offering us an unparalleled window into our distant past. This is why Kenya is rightfully known as the cradle of humanity. It was here, in the hot, arid landscapes around Lake Turkana, in northern Kenya, that some of the most important fossil discoveries in the history of paleoanthropology have been made. The work of the Leakey family, Lewis, Mary, and their son Richard, transformed our understanding of human evolution. They unearthed astonishingly complete and ancient fossils of our early ancestors. These were not just fragments, but skulls, skeletons, and footprints that told a story of how we came to be. These discoveries provided concrete evidence that humanity's story began not elsewhere, but right here, on the African continent. One of the most famous of these finds is the Turkana boy, an incredibly complete 1.5 million-year-old skeleton of a young Homo erectus. This single fossil provided scientists with a wealth of information about how our ancestors looked, how they moved, and how they grew. It showed us a species that was remarkably similar to us in its build, walking upright, with a long striding gait across these very savannas. Alongside such skeletons, archaeologists have found stone tools, the earliest evidence of technology. These simple crafted stones represent a monumental leap in cognitive ability, the first signs of the ingenuity that would come to define our species. To walk through these parts of Kenya is to feel a profound connection to this ancient heritage. The landscape itself feels timeless, and it is not difficult to imagine our distant ancestors moving across these same plains, searching for food and water, and gazing up at the same star-filled sky. The dust beneath one's feet may well contain the yet undiscovered secrets of our lineage. This deep, tangible link to the dawn of our species imbues Kenya with a sense of significance that is truly unique. It is more than just a country, it is the ancestral home of us all, a place of pilgrimage for anyone interested in the epic story of humanity. When we think of African wildlife, it is the magnificent creatures of the Kenyan savanna that so often come to mind. The country is synonymous with the Big Five, an old term once used by hunters for the most difficult and dangerous animals to track on foot. Today, it is a term used by safari-goers for the 5 creatures they most wish to see: the lion, the leopard, the rhinoceros, the elephant, and the African buffalo. To witness these animals in their natural habitat is an experience of profound awe and wonder. Seeing a pride of lions resting in the shade, or a herd of elephants bathing their young in a river, is to see nature in its purest and most powerful form. Each of these animals plays a vital role in the intricate ecosystem of the savanna. The lion, as the apex predator, helps to maintain the health of herbivore populations by preying on the weak and the old. The elusive leopard, a master of stealth, hunts from the shadows, its beautiful rosette-patterned coat providing perfect camouflage. The immense African elephant, the largest land animal on Earth, is a keystone species, shaping the landscape by toppling trees and creating pathways for other animals. The formidable African buffalo with its powerful horns moves in large herds for protection, while the critically endangered rhinoceros serves as a living relic from a bygone era. Nowhere is the drama of Kenyan wildlife more spectacular than in the Masai Mara National Reserve. This vast expanse of open grassland, contiguous with Tanzania's Serengeti National Park, is the stage for one of the most incredible natural events on the planet: the Great Migration. Every year, driven by the search for fresh grazing and water, more than 1 million wildebeest, accompanied by hundreds of thousands of zebra and gazelle, undertake a perilous circular journey. This colossal movement of animals is a relentless, thundering spectacle, a river of life flowing across the plains, creating a sight and sound that is simply unforgettable. The climax of this epic journey often occurs at the Mara River. To continue their migration, the herds must cross this treacherous, crocodile-infested waterway. They gather nervously on the banks, building in number and tension, until one brave or desperate individual finally takes the plunge, triggering a chaotic and desperate stampede. It is a scene of pure life-or-death drama, as the animals struggle against the powerful current and the waiting predators. For those that make it to the other side, the lush grasses of the Mara await. This annual spectacle is the ultimate display of the raw, unscripted power of nature, and the Masai Mara is its grandest stage. Kenya is as rich in its human cultures as it is in its wildlife. It is not home to one single people, but to a vibrant mosaic of more than 40 different ethnic groups, each with its own unique language, traditions, and customs. This diversity is the nation's cultural heartbeat, creating a society that is complex, dynamic, and endlessly fascinating. Among the largest and most well-known groups are the Kikuyu, who are traditionally farmers from the fertile Central Highlands, the Luo, who have historically lived around the shores of Lake Victoria, and the Kalenjin, renowned the world over for producing some of the greatest long-distance runners. Each community has contributed its own thread to the national fabric. The agricultural prowess of the Kikuyu has helped make the highlands the breadbasket of the nation. The fishing traditions of the Luo have sustained communities around the vast inland sea of Lake Victoria for generations. The cultural emphasis on endurance and discipline among the Kalenjin has brought international sporting glory to the country. This blending of different histories and lifestyles is what gives modern Kenya its unique character. A place where ancient traditions exist alongside the hustle and bustle of 21st century life, creating a truly dynamic cultural landscape. Perhaps no group is more iconic or more symbolic of Kenya than the Masai. They are a semi-nomadic people, famous for their distinctive red shukas, intricate beadwork, and proud warrior traditions. For centuries, they have lived a pastoralist lifestyle, their lives revolving around their herds of cattle, which are their primary source of wealth and cultural importance. The Masai have maintained a deep, almost symbiotic relationship with the savannas and the wildlife with which they share this land. They have managed to preserve their ancient way of life in the face of immense pressure from the modern world, a testament to their resilience and cultural pride. The Masai culture is rich with ceremony and tradition. Young men must pass through a series of rites of passage to become warriors, or Morans, tasked with protecting the community and its cattle. Their famous jumping dance, the Adumu, where warriors compete to see who can jump the highest, is not just a display of strength and agility, but a vital part of their courtship rituals. Their deep knowledge of the local environment, passed down through generations, is encyclopedic. They represent a powerful and enduring connection to the land, a living symbol of a Kenya where humanity and the wild have long coexisted, sometimes in conflict, but always in a shared space. The cultural diversity of Kenya is mirrored in its linguistic landscape. While English and Swahili serve as the two official languages, connecting people from different regions, it is just the beginning of the story. Across the country, dozens of indigenous languages are spoken, each one a vessel for the unique history, poetry, and worldview of its people. To travel through Kenya is to hear a symphony of different tongues, from the Ma language of the Masai warriors on the savannah, to the Kikuyu, spoken in the bustling markets of the highlands. This linguistic richness is a precious part of the nation's heritage, a living library of human expression. In the cool, misty highlands, another essential part of Kenya's identity flourishes. Here, endless rolling hills are carpeted in a sea of vibrant green, the famous tea fields. The high altitude, ample rainfall, and rich volcanic soils create the perfect conditions for growing some of the finest tea in the world. The sight of the perfectly manicured tea bushes stretching to the horizon is breathtakingly beautiful. These plantations are not just a scenic wonder, they are a cornerstone of the Kenyan economy, providing livelihoods for hundreds of thousands of people and making Kenya one of the largest exporters of black tea globally. It is a taste of the Kenyan highlands enjoyed in cups all around the world. Kenya, then, is a nation defined by this intricate relationship between its people and its extraordinary environment. It is a place where traditions are shaped by the land, and the land is, in turn, shaped by its inhabitants. The Masai pastoralists have coexisted with wildlife for centuries, their lives woven into the fabric of the savanna. The farmers of the highlands have carefully terraced the hillsides to cultivate the fertile soil, creating a productive and beautiful landscape. In the cities, a new, modern Kenya is being forged, drawing on the strengths and traditions of all its peoples to build a future in a rapidly changing world. Ultimately, Kenya represents a delicate but enduring harmony. It is a land of spectacular natural beauty, from the snows of its equatorial mountain to the teeming coral reefs of its ocean. It is the ancestral home of all humanity, a place where the story of our species began. And it is a vibrant, modern nation of diverse and resilient people. The future of Kenya lies in maintaining this balance, in protecting its priceless natural heritage, while nurturing the rich cultural tapestry of its people. It remains a place where nature and humanity are not separate, but are two parts of the same grand unfolding story, a living symphony of life.